Welcome back, guys. Chris here, and I'm bringing you the January edition of NetSuite News 2025. I'm really excited about 2025 in general, both in terms of some developments for NetSuite, as well as what we have on the chart for SuperTraining. So I'm not necessarily going to get into all that in this video, but there's a lot of great things coming up for this year. And to start off in this video, I want to talk about something I just released. So we're going to talk about SuperTraining highlight, starting with the ERP Consultants prep course that I just released earlier in this week. This is a course that took me quite a while to make. I've been in it for about a month and a half. And certainly for those who are familiar with the test, it is a very difficult test. It's something that people really need, in many cases, years of experience before they're able to approach and hopefully pass that exam. So I've now made a prep course, which is hopefully going to make things a little bit easier for people, hone in kind of on the things you really need to focus on, because that test is so broad and it goes so deep on very many topics. It's also one that doesn't do you a lot of favors. So whereas the sample tests have been helpful in previous exams, on this one in particular, it is not helpful almost at all. So a lot of things working against you on that, but hopefully with this prep course, for any of you guys out there that have been working as an administrator or a consultant for many years, have intended to get that certification, but haven't really been able to, with this certification prep course, hopefully I can take you across that finish line. So minimally, check it out, see if it's something that's interesting for you. And then next up from that, I want to give a NetSuite tip. This is something I actually realized when I was recording a video for the prep course, and I realized it really just applies in general to NetSuite, and more recently, is using AI tools when you're dealing with NetSuite. So first off, for the sake of this channel, I realize a lot of people watching want some information or they want to know more about NetSuite. So if you're in that category, then using AI tools, whether that's ChatGPT or there's now DeepSeek, there's Copilot, whatever AI tool you want to use, using these things to help you learn more about NetSuite and, more importantly, to problem solve and debug things, it is a very valuable resource, and it's getting more and more helpful as time goes on. So just to give some examples of how you could use it, because there's definitely circumstances I would not advise using tools like this. I personally use ChatGPT. Again, you can use whichever one you want, but for example, if you're trying to make saved searches and you don't know exactly how to use one of the SQL formulas, or you know exactly what you want the results to be, but you don't know the exact parameters or the joins that are required to get that, just try putting that information into an AI tool. Let them know that you're dealing with this in NetSuite, and it'll spit out everything that you need. And it'll also tell you the logic of why you would put in the various criteria or formulas, etc. The best thing about it, because really the problem with these AI tools is they're not always accurate. Sometimes they're completely off the reservation. But the good thing about this is if you put this information into one of these AI tools, you get an answer from it, and then you try it out, you can immediately see if it works or it doesn't. And there's really not a risk to it. So if you try out some formula and it doesn't work, that's fine. You can even just run it through the system again and see if you get a different response. Or in many cases, as I've found, it is correct and it will solve exactly what you're running into. You can also use it if you're running into specific error messages. The first place I would recommend going is Suite Answers, because sometimes they'll have those exact error messages with a full documentation of exactly what the problem is, how you handle it, etc. But not everything is in Suite Answers. And honestly, the search capabilities for Suite Answers could be much improved. So if that's not working for you, try throwing it into one of these AI tools and just see what it says. I found, again, 50% of the time, it's off in the wrong direction, but 50% of the time, it'll give me exactly the correct reason and the steps to handle it. And it's something you can immediately see, did it get it correct? Okay, good. Now that problem is solved. So there's not really a risk to at least relying on it if other tools fail. I found in general, at least amongst consultants, and I suspect amongst clients as well, that they just haven't even realized this is something that they can lean on. And it's only been, I would say, in the last year. No doubt it's going to get significantly better over time. So I would always keep that in mind as something you can lean on if other things aren't working. I know people will spend hours digging through documentation and Suite Answers and just on Google trying to find specific solutions to specific problems. You might as well spend 30 seconds and put it into an AI tool and see what you get. The next thing I have for you is in relation to the NetSuite release for the first part of 2025. Again, there's always 2 releases in every year. They haven't nailed down exactly when this release is coming, but they've started to announce some things are going to be included in that release. Now, in the later NetSuite news videos, I'll go more into detail on the various features, what I think about what's going to be cool, what's maybe not as helpful. But one thing I wanted to say, even at this early stage when we know very little, they've made it clear that with the new release, it's going to be defaulting the user interface to be Redwood. So in the past, or I would say up until now, it's been the old user interface, but you can switch to Redwood. Now it's going to be for new people coming in, it's going to default to Redwood. You always have the option to go into set preferences and the appearance tab and change it back to the old user interface. But if you don't want to, you're going to be basically stuck in Redwood. I know a lot of people are not in love with Redwood. It can be a little bit difficult to read, and it's just a change. Some people don't like going through those changes. I do think as they roll out more features that are going to be associated with Redwood, it will ultimately be a good decision and a good direction to go in. But at some point, you are going to have to get familiar with it because they have made it clear that with not a specific date, but at a certain point, they will be completely phasing out the old user interface and you will only be stuck on the new UI. So if you got to make a jump at some point, you might as well do it with this new release or even try it out right now. You have the option to go in and at least start testing around in the Redwood UI. Again, the functionality is the same. It's just a cosmetic change as for now. The last thing I want to bring up in this NetSuite news video is some upcoming events. Nothing shocking on the horizon, but there's a few events that generally people are not aware of or realize that are resources for them. One is Suite Fundamentals. So this is a virtual series of events that you can sign on at any time. They cover a large different array of categories. So sometimes it's on Suite Analytics, sometimes it's on workflows. You can always check them out. If it's a time that you're available, you can sign up. You can also do this thing where you sign in, even if you're not available at that time, but it is recorded. So as long as you log in at the right time, and even if you don't watch it, it will send you the recording so you're able to access it at a later time and just get that free advice, the free resource. A lot of times it's new features or updates to features. You might as well take advantage of that. They also have, in terms of more major events and in-person events, there is Suite Connect that's going to be happening all throughout the year. And basically Suite Connect is like a little mini Suite World, but it's totally free. So if it's happening in your city, you might as well take advantage of it. They put a lot of work into it. They have speakers, they have professionals there that you can ask questions for. They've got upcoming in the next month or so, there's Chicago, New York, San Francisco, another one happening in Mexico City. So if you're in any one of those cities, I highly recommend you sign up online and take advantage of it. And that's it for this edition of NetSuite News. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And with that in mind, I'll see you in the next video.